again, most of the focus was in South Africa, Zimbabwe, but we had the dimension of Mozambique because we felt, in terms of prioritizing, we needed to have more discussion around Mozambique. And in terms of the two challenges, we chose drought and floods. So it's not very different from many other presentations we've heard. Yeah, it's different from the previous one because we had the HIV piece in the background and wanted to have Zimbabwe and Mozambique feature in this discussion. So Mozambique, especially for floods, lack of early warning systems or weak early warning systems, areas of flood are also the most productive around the Zambezi River. Culture and identity tie people to the geography that makes them resistant, to moving to comparable fertile areas, denial of threat, religious beliefs and fatalism sometimes. What's going to happen to you is going to happen. And of lack of trust makes leaving property behind a difficult thing even when you have the obvious threats. And capabilities, there are institutions that prepare for disaster and response. The religious institution, local churches that easily provide shelter, and there's strong NGO presence that also come to aid for emergencies. And potential areas that can be boosted, social capital to increase trust and mitigate trusted communication channels through more trusted individuals like pastors, local community influencers. Better data for weather forecasting and increased trust in accuracy will increase the trust in accuracy of weather forecasts. And drought, it's also a big problem along that border with South Africa and Mozambique. Absence of levels of storage, absence of water storage infrastructure, it's a system level problem. Over-reliance of rain-fed agriculture as well in this region is a problem there. And resistance to new drought-resistant crops. Grain reserves have been depleted. We used to have quite a lot of this in Zimbabwe until very recently. And how they cope, remittances from migrant labor. This stimulates a lot of migrant labor into South Africa. And remittances that come to help people sustain livelihood. Emotional intelligence, that people kind of have this tenacity to live, to capture that psychosocial capital. Empirical experience of surviving previous droughts kind of keeps them going and learning from experience, and also NGOs, strong NGO presence to provide food aid. In terms of what can be done, we can build on what's existing, such as food for work in Zimbabwe, where people are taken to work, like, to reconstruct roads, and they're giving food for that. And there's need for better data on weather forecasting and to increase the trust and accuracy of the weather forecast information. Indigenous livestock improvement, that's to build on the Limpopo Nguni Cattle Development Program, where through the Development Corporation, there's funding to improve the cattle and as an alternative for livelihood for the people living around the villages, where actually it's an initiative, public-private initiative between government and local mining industry. That's about it. Questions about March?
You've also identified floods and drought. My question to you is, how often does the drought occur? Is it every year, every 5 years, every 10 years? How frequent?
The drought it's kind of persistent. It's chronic. It's always there during the season. That means Zimbabwe. Alfred could add to that in the Matabele.
Yeah, I think Matabele is actually a drought-prone area. Although other areas in Zimbabwe, they've adequate rains. That area tends to have